Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for more daily D&T. We're still playing with XJ Cloud's blue-white D&T list that includes Force of Will. We are currently 0-2 with this deck list. Nope. Yep. I guess if we want to Force of Will early, we need to pitch a Recruiter of the Guard. ADALID 240477. Miracles, Repel Miracles. So if we are playing against Miracles, I don't actually really want this Force of Will. Let's operate under the assumption that it is Miracles. I'm pretty comfortable with that given, like, my opponent has a brand. Still really regret not swapping out my planes. Freaking rookie mistake. So we have 2 draws to hit a land to be in really good shape this game. But missing a land drop is not the end of the world here. Since I'm not guaranteed to hit a land drop next turn, I think I'm going to play out this Mother of Runes this turn and use the Mom to soak up a plow. And then try to actually have the Thalia live. Or my opponent can just Terminus 2 of my creatures, that's cool too. So Brainstorm into Terminus is just a clean 2-for-1 for my opponent, but then they wouldn't be able to shuffle with their Brainstorm, so that's at least somewhat of a win. I could just Spell Queller a Brainstorm, or I could just start casting Recruiter for value targets. It's not the end of the world either. I just feel like the Spell Queller's so telegraphed if I just play it here. What am I recruiting for if it resolves? I don't have a Palace Jailer, unfortunately. Just Recruiter for Meddling Mage. Then try to play like Meddling Mage and Thalia in the same turn. Am I going to play back to basics main deck? No. I could also just get the Soul Herder. Card is going to be obnoxious if I can assemble it with Recruiter, and I do have another Recruiter. I think getting Meddling Mage to eliminate Terminus shenanigans is probably okay. I really could have considered attacking with Mom there as well. Alright, so that's pretty much my confirmation that my opponent doesn't have main deck back to basics. They don't feel very threatening. I guess that's okay. I can Brazen Borrow or bounce it, or draw Swords to Plowshares, or draw Jitte. Yeah. I think I'm just going to try to get the True Name Nemesis down. That'll help me stabilize against this and allow me to still attack into it. JK. Alright, so I think I'm going to end up with too much clunk in my hand, and I'm going to die before I have the ability to cast most of these cards. Not being able to recruit her for Palace Jailer is a touch rough. Or, like, a Ballista, either. And I don't have, like, as many pieces of equipment that will just let me answer this. At this point, I feel like I'm behind enough that I should probably just do this. Okay, my opponent doesn't have Swords of Plowshares, they have Sixth. So this makes the Mentor worse. And this can also make the Mentor worse. Alright, so do I actually just name Oko, which also would be obnoxious on this board? Or do I just go ahead and shut off, like, Brainstorm or Source of Plowshares or something to just further hinder this card? I think I probably need to do that. So there's 2 Ponders in the bin, 1 Brainstorm in the bin. Let's go ahead and name Brainstorm. Brainstorm is also an instant, so it makes some of the combat math a little harder. Yeah, alright. So what would I would recruit her for Soul Herder. Or I can just keep Queller up. Let me go ahead and recruit her. So I'm going to try to not commit any more non-cantripping creatures to the board. Because Terminus is one of the best things against me currently. Yikes. Opponent has made their decision about what they're doing with their life. So you remember that thing where I was talking about not committing more to Terminus? That was a lie. No board sweeper creature. I think I'm just getting another Meddling Mage. Just like put a Meddling Mage on Terminus or something like that. Try to lock down what my opponent can actually do. So this is interesting. not actually nearly as good defensively as I look here. I don't think I want to tap this mom, because next turn I have 2 moms available, and then it becomes much safer for me to play defensively. I'll also have a soul herder that's pretty big. So I kind of just want to block one of these. My opponent can't really double spell here. I can just take a little bit of damage, kill a monk token, and keep a respectable size board with plenty of jump blockers for later. Okay, so we played around this, which is great. Now I can play out a new meddling mage. Name Terminus so that I can't get just X for Wand. Flicker a Recruiter. Yes. I'll take a bounce spell. So, like, I'm doing my thing here, but it doesn't really feel like my thing's all that good. I can't remove anything on the other side of the table. My life total is under too much pressure from a bunch of 1/1s and 2/2s. Well, that's a disaster. So what is this actually going to name? I guess it names the Soul Herder. I probably just have to let this happen. Yep. Ah, fuck, I had the Spell Queller that I was going to cast, but I was busy complaining. Maybe this is fine, though. This actually might be better. Because I get to permanently take a Mentor off the table. Oh, no, I can't block that with this. It only blocks creatures with flying. Okay, that was definitely not better then. So I can trade a Mentor and Recruiter. Am I actually winning this game? Not Quellering, that was a pretty big mistake, but I think I was already on the cusp of losing anyway. Alright, so let's figure it out. So I could go like block, 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 or maybe block, block. So these would trade 2 creatures for Mentors. I'd take 6 and die. So I think I'm going to unlock some of my opponent's cards, but just keep a good number of blockers and not lose any life this turn. So let's save all my moms. And petty theft this token away. To fetch to do that. Okay, not really where I want to be. My biggest issue is that I've probably unlocked a card. I'm going to queller that. Alright. That's interesting. Can I actually attack? How do I win this game if I don't attack? I probably don't. Great. This is, relatively speaking, a disaster. More for life total reasons than anything else, though. What is this targeting? Alright, so it targets the Mother of Runes, so I'm basically obligated to protect the Mother of Runes. And technically playing a little tighter, I could have given them one less life by playing this earlier. Am I attacking with 2 or 3 things sorry, am I attacking with 1 or 2 things this turn? Or even 3. There's lines where I can attack with 3 things this turn. So, like, I could attack with Thalia, Queller, Borrower, then replay a Thalia, and Legend Rule of the Thalia. It gets a little awkward if my opponent has a counterspell, though. But I think I need to put my opponent on a potential 2-turn clock. We'll keep this Thalia so that I have 3 blockers. Now, I could bluff having some other card, but I think my opponent is going to be in a situation where they basically have to call all of my bluffs. So I'm just going to play it out. Brainstorm over Council's Judgment there is a little interesting to me. But okay. Like, Council's Judgment removes one of the Moms or one of the Thalias guaranteed. They could be trying to play towards Terminus, though, because they haven't seen one this game yet. Buddy. So I am representing lethal on board. I'm going to be setting a stop on my draw step here. Okay, hold on. Let me think, because I think I have this game locked up two different ways. So it costs my opponent 2 mana to Swords of Plowshares any one of my creatures, in which case I hard cast a Force of Will. Or I port down one of their lands. Yeah, there's no way that they can cast 2 interactive spells. Yeah, so I can just give my Thalia protection from 2 different colors. My opponent can Swords to Plowshares it, and then I hard cast Force of Will back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay. Oh, fuck, I did that in the wrong order. Oh my god. I'm such a fucking idiot. Oh my god. I needed to do blue first, so that I could get through the Snapcaster Mage. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. Oh, that is disappointing. Oh, I might die because of that. Okay. So my opponent has to now chump with the Snapcaster Mage. What if I attack with everything? How does that work out? So my opponent can block the Mother of Runes with a Monk. And then Snapcaster on Thalia and not die. Then have only one Monk, which I can't block. It might be better to hold back a blocker, in which case. I could also just hold back one extra creature. Put my opponent to 1, hold up this. Then I don't die pretty much no matter what. Yeah, alright. So I went from having the win on board to absolutely, potentially punting this game away. Alright. Yep, I punt this game away. So now my opponent gets Snapcaster, has a body on board. Oh, that's frustrating. It's 100% my fault. I'll take mistakes that you make when recording, but would never make in real life for 500. At least that's worth something as a draw. Yep, this is the disaster level punish. Play around Oko, not entreat, get entreated. That land doesn't actually produce mana. I need to somehow remove 2 angels on my opponent's turn. I'm otherwise just stone cold dead to those. So I think I'm supposed to take this hit, go to 2, and just try to fumble my way through somehow. Alright, so I punted that one. Actually, maybe not. Let's try that. Alright, Council's Judgment in, Deputy in, I guess Lavinia in. Rest in Peace is borderline. I'll think about it. My opponent has both AK and Snapcaster, and I think I'm going to have a decent amount of not great cards. So I'll probably trim a Source to Plowshares. I'll probably trim the Jitte. I hate that so many of these things are X2s that are just going to die to Snapcaster Mage in combat. I think I need to be putting pressure on my opponent rather than force of willing their stuff most of the time. I'm not even that good at presenting pressure, unlike normal D&T, because they don't just have like the Stoneforge Mystic equipment package to turn every creature into a real threat. And Jitte is like the worst equipment in your deck versus Miracles. I might even play 3 Rest in Peace. And just also try to shut off Mystic Sanctuary and just treat this as an angle of attack of my deck. Force of Negation is the most reasonable of the counterspell options. So this puts me at 28 creatures. I just feel like I'm building a house of cards that isn't a winning battle here. So, like, I want Mom to protect Meddling Mage and Spellqueller, but, like, once either one of those things leave play, it tends to be a disaster for me, as we saw that game. But, like, this plays just more and more indeterminous. Yeah. It's possible I should leave in 1 more Mom and only board in 2 Rest in Peace, because the game is going to go long enough that I might see more than one of them. I'm also not convinced that this deck is playing enough lands. also at least going to initially F6 through most of my opponent's turns. I'm really far behind on clock, so if I win this game, I do need to do so quickly. I'm going to get plains as my first fetch here. The reason why I play Rest in Peace over Meddling Mage this turn is because I can just vial in the Meddling Mage next turn anyway. So I don't miss out on any, like, quote-unquote mana by waiting. So that smells like accumulated knowledge to me, but accumulated knowledge is just draw one card. So I don't care about responding to that with Meddling Mage. Well, that's not the best, and we missed a land drop, so I can't queller that. Okay, yeah. Not too surprising there. So I can expose a spell to Force of Will right now, which I think I am okay with doing. Ooh, that just resolved. That's good. I'm gonna get something sticky for if my board gets wiped. Can't Supreme Verdict me this turn, so that's cool. Okay, so they're gonna just destroy my vial. And that's not bad. I'm gonna get a little aggressive here because I care about my clock. We're just getting true names to throw at my opponent for if they board wipe me. Alright. So I totally feel fine about my decision to board in Rest in Peace given this build. I will now remember that Spell Queller has text. Healing Gain Magic the Gathering. Do I just flip-flop this Determinus now? I think I do. So Plains plus Supreme Verdict is pretty spicy against us. Otherwise, I think I get this game. Okay, so they can still find a Supreme Verdict and get my board. Otherwise, they would need like double Swords to Plowshares. Isn't that a mistake? Don't use Swords to Plowshares Spell Queller, and then Swords to Plowshares another creature too? Yeah, so now because they did that, they're just dead on board, right? Like even if they counter the Venser, I just have them. That was like a 1 minute game. Let's run it back. Yeah, definitely don't think this deck is running enough lands. I don't love my hand. If the Vial gets answered in some ways or another, I think my hand's pretty weak. Like, I'm threat dense, but I'm missing mana. CCUM. So I don't care if my opponent Swords to Plowshares this creature, because then my mom lives in all likelihood. So that's why I didn't just put that on Swords to Plowshares. So this means that unless my opponent is Snapcaster or another Plow, my mom's very likely to live, and that's what I care about with this current hand. And I really wish I had a Recruiter target that dealt with that well. But I don't. I'll figure it out. Are we just gonna Soul Herder and go through it? Am I just gonna bounce it? Am I just gonna get a True Name and attack through it? I feel like the Soul Herder lines can't be that bad. It'd be a pretty brutal terminus. So I can get Petty Theft or Venser to just bounce this, or I can just get something that can start attacking in the air. How I play my next turn is kind of interesting as well. I wish I had more time to think about it, but that's not where we're at. Well, that makes it easier. So opponent gets to hide their best card, potentially put a terminus on top, which would be annoying. Good God. All right. I will take the Mentor. So they have Force AK. They'll potentially just Force of Will this. Just gonna let them not cycle that. It's brutal if their top card is Force. Oh no, they just kept all their best cards. Well, that is a brutal top deck. Kind of sucks if they have Plow. But I think they would, like, given their play pattern, I think they would have plowed if they had it. Oh, is it an opponent? Yeah, okay. I guess I should have cast Brazen Borrower there and increased my clock. Yeah, that was relevant. Okay, So now I can't win in 20 seconds, so I will just go ahead and concede. All right, I 100% punted that away. That match. That is what it is. Can't play perfectly while you're streaming and chatting. All right, I'll be back tomorrow.